Welcome back to the channel. Natu here once again, and we're gonna talk about Tekken 8. Now, I was fortunate having access to the beta this time around. The first time I wasn't able to enter, right? But this time around I was able to enter. I have several things I have to say about Tekken 8. Now, if you guys don't know, I have played Tekken before. It's not like I'm new to the franchise or I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Even so, the characters that I use are not available in the beta. For example, I use Leo, right, or Miguel. I will be using. You will see some footage of me using Claudio. I did use him way back in the day when Tekken 7 started, but I think he's a good character, but I like to have more options regarding to my lows or better range in normals, to say the least. But anyways, having said that, right, please like and subscribe. It will help a lot of the channel. And with that out of the way, let's start with this review. So let's start with the beginning, right? When you start the game, right, you're gonna go to the training. Well, not training, it's more like a tutorial, to be honest, right? You will create your name and then it will send you to tutorial. Now, regarding the tutorial, I have issues with it. I think it's okay when they go about basic controls and rules, but there are certain things that aren't explained that well. For example, you know, like they explain, you know, what you can do with the hit gauge, right? Like you can chip your characters, your opponents, right? And have access to new moves or or strings or whatever you want to call, right? But there's several things that, for example, I didn't notice almost at the end of the beta. And there's another thing, I only was able to play like one day, unfortunately, because of issues with my internet, whatever here. There was thunderstorms, etc, etc. So I didn't notice until almost after 1 hour, actually, sorry, that you could use your hit gauge activation, and it will do like it will give you like a armor and use it like technically like a burst or as a defensive mechanic also, or something to steal the turn of your opponents, right? There's other ways you can use it right there. I'm not talking about the activation that you use the right button and the left kick, or which will be, actually, I think I said it correctly, it will be the button 2, sorry, and the button 3, right? So I think it's right punch, left kick, right? I'm mistaken, right? But anyways, it goes, I didn't notice that until other people were starting doing it. I say, oh, that's, you can also use it like that. The tutorial never mentioned something like that, and even when I verify back after doing this video and seeing what I recorded, I noticed that it's plain set but really vague, right? Another thing is that sure, you can get activation or your hit meter using other strings, right? But it doesn't explain that, for example, if the opponent blocks, right, you will not be able to go from the hit activation gate, which is okay, it's cool. But at the beginning was like, hey, I'm doing something wrong, what's happening? Another thing is that I was kind of confused regarding the lingo they were using. They were saying like, oh, you can use hit gauge once per fight, which meant per round. So technically the first fights I wasn't not using hit gauge every time. I was like, oh, this is like my fatal blow from Mortal Kombat. You use it once, it's then gone forever, right? So I was kind of confused with that. Again, keep in mind I haven't been keeping up to date with the changes in Tekken 8 because I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, the game sucks, blah blah blah, or they nerf my character, or they make it simpler. I wanted to avoid all that drama, and I say, you know what, I want to go with an open mind and be neutral to see what is happening here, right? But anyways, having said that, those are the gripes I have with the game in the tutorial. It's not a bad tutorial. I wish they explained things better, especially if you're a newcomer. You will be like, what the heck? If you're somebody like me that has a certain idea how fighting games works, it makes sense and you will catch up really fast, right? But at the beginning, it will be like, what the heck is happening, right? Another thing is that they are talking about, and this is gonna go more about balance now, right? Regarding the balance of the game, people are saying that heat and rage are too strong together. It makes sense, right? And I do notice that because technically there's certain characters that can abuse the chip mechanic that the heat gauge gives you, especially when they're on rage. So I don't think Tekken needs cheap damage, to be honest, unless it was like a special move or maybe like a power crush or something that will use meter. I will understand that, but make your strings being always chipping damage on hit gauge is kind of weird. Another thing I do not like is that I mean I don't like it. I say saying I don't like it is kind of wrong, to be honest. What I mean is, for example, the jailing issue that's happening or the jailing dilemma. Now, what I mean by jailing, right, is, for example, in Tekken, let's say you have a string that hits low and then hits high, right? Now, usually what happens on hit and also on block, right? If you block or get hit on the low, right, the high attack can be still evaded by crushing down, right? But this time around, they made it so that if you get hit by the low, the high will hit you, right? Even if you're trying to crouch, it doesn't matter if you're like for that, it will jail you to that, right? And people are not liking that kind of change. That's something that Tekken didn't have, right? I'm kind of 50-50 on it because I understand that one of the big issues that people have always told me, oh, in Tekken, it's always to backdash, and move around and make your character to throw something and with punish. Throwing low attacks is too risky. That's not real, because of the low parry system, right? Or that if you block a low, it's a free juggle. And I would say that Tekken as a 3D game, right, compared to other games that like Soul Calibur, also Virtua Fighter, etc., Dead or Alive, etc. I would say that if you're making your character, if your opponent's always going back, and trying to block, then what is the point of using a low attack, right? They need to make low attacks way stronger, right? And I think they're making it stronger regarding on making the jailing being something of an effect of that to make the lows more stronger, right? After you hit a low and then do a high attack, right? And also make it so that the nerf to the backdash, the movement to backdashing or Korean backdash, because it doesn't exist like before, right? I've never been a fan of taking us backdash, because technically it becomes a boring game. Like, I think the backdashing is okay as it is right now. To be honest, I think they should make it so that it doesn't block automatically, and that's something that I did notice that they are doing now. For example, before you could do a forward dash and block instantly, right? Now if you're trying to do that, gonna get hit. I think that's okay. Even though I don't like it, I think it's okay, because the reason why I don't like it is because even though you're doing the forward dash, you're making a commitment, but the person that's doing a backdash now is way safer, and it's like, so you're playing like the mouse and the cat, right? Regarding something also about the jailing issue or problematic dispute or whatever the controversy, right, is that the jailing thing, right? I always thought that high attacks are kind of weak in Tekken unless it's like a 1 or 2, right? Because you can crouch them, right? But the thing is that the reward was that usually those high attacks are frame advantage, right? And this is why I think some people are mostly angry with the jail part, because they'll say, oh, if you block a low and then they have a high, I need to take the high. In that case, or block the high, right? In that case, is other characters do that with mid strings, right? Like they can do mid, and that will be plus. So I think it's more like people need to watch if this is okay. Or make it so that, okay, if they are gonna do the string, right? Let's say that the string is too low, too high, like I mentioned before, right? It's a linear string. Make it so that you can do sidestep way better, which gets me to another point. Sidesteps in this game. Sidesteps in this game work better than other Tekken versions, but not all sidesteps are the same. What I mean by that is that some characters like Lily, technically the girls, right? Etc. Right? Sometimes they will do a sidestep and they're on your back, right? Which is kind of weird, because if you do the same thing, you might be like almost to the left. You will avoid the attack, but sometimes what will happen is that you avoided it, and then you throw an attack, the attack you throw for an evade, right, for a sidestep, and sometimes your character will get still hit because the hitbox or the hardbox of your character get expanded to where the normal of your opponent that you sidestep it hit. So yeah, another thing I want to mention is that some characters feels too strong right now. Azucena, I didn't find her so strong. I found her annoying more than anything. But then again, you will see the difference between. It's like I feel she's like a Leroy when Leroy was OP. But if the Leroy was played by a scrub, then you can win. But if she's played by like a top player or somebody that doesn't likes to run around and always be safe, it's gonna be hell on earth, right? Another thing I didn't like it is that when you finally get your first time to play a match online, you're not able to go to training mode, which was freaking annoying, bro. Like I was like going like, hey, what is happening? Why can't I go to training? Because they want you to fight with the AI, with the CPU, right? And then you fight with CPU, and after that they will go, okay, so you will go over and this will be your rank. You can jump from first dan to fire, something like that, right? But there wasn't no training mode. Of course, there was some stuff in the lobby that were not implemented or that were disabled because this is a beta. Now, regarding the netcode, let's go about that. So I have seen some people having issues with the netcode, saying, hey, the netcode is not that good compared to Tekken 7. What are people talking about? And I did notice that sometimes there will be some hiccups, but the times that there were really hiccups is like you can see over here. This is against a Wi-Fi player, and if you see in the right bottom corner, right, you will see that there is like a 1 frame delay. The things that are happening regarding the rollback or delay frames or whatever is not being shown in actuality, right? And it was super frustrating. It messed up your combos. Of course, you messed it up combos, but also it was like super infuriating because this is a game that you need to react accordingly, right? And there were some things that I was saying like, hey, I did block that. That's a low, and I wasn't able to block it whatsoever, and I'm getting hit because of whatever, right? Which is it's kind of weird, to be honest. I don't know. I understand that Tekken has this is a new engine, a real engine. So it's not the engine they used as before, right? And they're having, this change from engines, right? And I understand that it might be a little bit difficult for them to implement the rollback, but they need to get that correctly, otherwise it will be big issues for them, right? But yeah, that's in a nutshell. What I'm saying is, I think I have fun with the game. I don't say I hate it, but I hate that against Wi-Fi wires, I will not be able to play. Like, to be honest, if this is like this on launch date, I will not accept anybody on Wi-Fi unless they do a fix, right? Regarding balance, I think they still need a lot of things to work around, especially the new mechanics. And oh my god, the delay. See, for example, and that's another thing. There's people saying, I didn't notice this until I fought against this player, saying, oh, the clash or the explosions. I love how it looks. It looks beautiful, but sometimes I don't know what the heck I'm getting hit by. I cannot react if it's a low or it's a mid or it's a high or whatever. In this case, I never understood what is happening because the delay, right? So yeah, like, to be honest, they need to make it so that they need to make it so that the explosions make it so that they don't interfere visually in noticing what is happening. That's another thing they need to do. Like I said, balance, they need to get it better. Right now the game feels a mess, but what fighting game at the beginning of launch day is not bad. They still have like 3 months to get this right. The rollback, they need to face this ASAP, right? Regarding the character roster, I'm still think they need more characters. But yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you think about Tekken? Were you able to play it? And if so, let me know in the comments below what you think about it. And yeah, see you next video. Take care. Bye bye.